Hello, thank you for viewing our presentation, Financial Aid, What's Next? This presentation is specifically for first-time in college students who have already completed their FAFSA and received an award package. If you have not yet submitted your FAFSA or received an award package, we encourage you to continue viewing the presentation as you may still find it informative. In this presentation, we will begin with an overview of financial aid basics. Then, we will discuss how you can utilize one.uf to navigate your financial aid details. And we will finish up the presentation with the process for receiving aid and maintaining aid eligibility. At the end of the presentation, contact information will be provided in case you have additional questions or need further assistance. Let's jump in to the overview of financial aid basics. To begin, let's review the steps you have completed so far. By now, we hope you have already submitted your financial aid applications. If not, you will need to log in to studentaid.gov and submit the FAFSA as soon as possible. Summer B admits should submit the 2020-2021 FAFSA as well as the 2021-2022 FAFSA. Additionally, Florida resident students who plan to utilize Bright Futures funding should complete the Florida financial aid application. Since you have been admitted to UF, it is safe to say that you have already completed your admissions application and completed the acceptance process. So, what's next? We know you're probably excited to start classes, but don't forget, college costs money, and you need to know how you're going to pay for it. Not only do you need to know how you're going to pay for your tuition and fees, but you also need to know how you're going to pay for your books and supplies, transportation, technology, personal items, clothing, housing, and food. These items make up the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance is not an actual amount that you owe to the university. Instead, the cost of attendance helps you create a budget for your enrollment. To help you get started, we have an estimated cost of attendance on our website. However, your actual cost will vary depending on enrollment, residency, your personal spending choices, and other factors. When creating a financial aid package, we are prohibited from awarding aid that exceeds the student's cost of attendance. Many students see the cost of attendance and assume this is the amount they owe to the university. The cost of attendance is not an amount owed to UF. The cost of attendance is simply a tool that helps you create a budget for your enrollment. The cost of attendance includes all direct and indirect costs associated with enrollment at UF. Direct costs are expenses that are due to the university, such as tuition and fees, possibly your books and supplies, and housing and meal plans that you purchase through UF. Indirect costs are expenses that students should expect to incur during enrollment, but the expenses are not paid to the university. Indirect costs include transportation, clothing, personal items, possibly books and supplies, as well as housing and food if you do not utilize on-campus housing or meal plans. Once you have determined what your expenses are, next you need to determine how you will pay for those expenses. Your direct charges are reflected on your campus finances account with the University Bursar's office. And the Bursar's office is responsible for processing many forms of payment. For example, the Bursar's office processes all Florida prepaid payments. This is done automatically, and there is no action required of the student unless the student chooses to opt out. The Bursar's office also processes many third-party payments, which are payments from non-UF organizations and agencies. Additionally, if students need to make an out-of-pocket payment on their account, they may make online payments to the Bursar's office, mail the payment, or place the payment in the drop box at Kreiser Hall. Students should always include their name, UFID, and contact information when mailing payments or placing payments in the Dropbox. The Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships is here to help provide possible payment assistance through various forms of financial aid. There are 4 categories of financial aid, and they are grants, scholarships, student employment, and student loans. Many financial aid sources within these categories are need-based and require the annual submission of the FAFSA. A student's eligibility for need-based aid is determined from the Expected Family Contribution, or EFC. As with cost of attendance, there is a common misconception that a student's EFC indicates an actual amount due to the university. However, the EFC is simply an index number generated from the FAFSA that determines a student's eligibility for need-based aid. Based on the eligibility determination, the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships will create an aid package to assist the student with their education-related expenses. We will take a closer look at the aid package later in the presentation. For Florida residents, the Bright Futures Award is the most common source of financial aid funding. This award falls into the scholarships category of financial aid. There are 2 levels of the Bright Futures Award: the academic level, which pays 100% of the standard tuition and fee rate, and the medallion level, which pays 75% of the standard tuition and fee rate. Students must be enrolled at least half-time each term to be eligible for Bright Futures funding, and students will be placed into repayment for any courses that are dropped after the funding has dispersed. Federal Work Study is an aid source that falls into the student employment category and is a great way to earn income and gain work experience on a schedule that is convenient to your class and study schedule. Unlike other forms of aid, which usually disperse in full each term, work study awards are dispersed as biweekly paychecks. Students who are interested in this option but do not see a work study award in their aid package should contact the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships to inquire about their eligibility. Students may apply for a work study position at jobs.ufl.edu, and the application and interview process should be taken seriously. Students may seek assistance from the Career Connection Center for help with resume and cover letters. While colleges and universities offer many scholarships to their students, many more scholarships can be found from other organizations. There is a scholarship search engine on our website, which includes many UF and non-UF scholarship opportunities. Students are also encouraged to utilize some of the other scholarship sources listed on this slide to seek additional funding opportunities. When seeking scholarship opportunities, always be aware of potential scams. Always check the legitimacy of the scholarship and be skeptical of offers that guarantee funding or require you to include credit card or banking information. Students receiving non-UF scholarships must report those funds in their aid package. We will discuss this process further in the next section of the presentation. Next, we will discuss how to navigate one.uf. One.uf will be utilized throughout your enrollment, and students should monitor the site on a regular basis. One.uf will be utilized to view notices from financial aid as well as other departments. You will use one.uf to register for classes, view your schedule and grades, view your charges, payments, and balances, and of course, view your financial aid information. You will log into one.uf using your GatorLink credentials. Once you are logged in, you will be taken to the student homepage. In the top left corner, you will notice Action Item Summary. This section contains information about holds, to-dos, and other information items. Holds are items that may prevent actions from occurring, such as financial aid disbursement, class registration, access to transcripts, etc. When holds are present, students should review the hold to determine what action is being prevented and the steps necessary to have the hold cleared from the account. To-dos are tasks a student must complete for their file to be finalized. Students can click on the to-do items to determine what tasks are required. Info is general notices and other reminders. Action items can be added by many departments, and students should monitor this section throughout each term and complete any necessary steps as soon as possible. In the middle of the student homepage, you will notice the Campus Finances or Bursar section, where you can view account balances and transactions, make a payment, or sign up for direct deposit. In the bottom right of the student homepage, you will notice the Financial Aid section. To view your financial aid information, you will need to select the applicable academic year. Once you choose an academic year, you will be taken to the screen as depicted in the picture on the left side of this slide. The picture on the right side of this slide is an enlargement of the highlighted section on the left. In the top section of this financial aid page, you will see your satisfactory academic progress status. This is a federal regulation that requires students to meet particular academic criteria to remain eligible for federal funding. If your status changes to not meeting satisfactory academic progress, you will need to contact the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships for assistance. We will further discuss satisfactory academic progress later in the presentation. Also, in this section, you will see related links, one of which is Authorized Information Release. If you would like our office to be able to speak with any third party about your file, such as a parent or guardian, you will need to complete the Authorized Information Release section. The next section displays the estimated cost of attendance and the expected family contribution from the FAFSA. Remember, neither of these numbers indicate an amount that you owe to UF. Cost of attendance indicates the estimated direct and indirect costs associated with enrollment and is used to assist with budgeting. The expected family contribution is the index number from the FAFSA that determines a student's eligibility for need-based aid. One important note regarding the cost of attendance displayed on this screen: the estimated cost of attendance is projected each year based on 15 credit hours of enrollment during the fall and spring terms and 12 credit hours of enrollment during the summer terms, with the exception of your initial summer B term, which is based on 6 credit hours of enrollment. After the drop-add period each term, the cost of attendance will be adjusted to reflect actual enrollment. Because the total financial aid package cannot exceed the cost of attendance, in the event that your cost of attendance is reduced based on actual enrollment, it is possible some of the aid in the award package will also be reduced. The next section displays the aid package and lists the awards and amounts offered. You will notice this section is split into 2 halves. On the left half of the section, you are viewing the cumulative totals of the awards offered. The right half of this section displays the amounts per term. As with cost of attendance, award amounts are projected for 15 credit hours of enrollment during the fall and spring terms, and 12 credit hours of enrollment during the summer terms, again with the exception of your initial summer term, which is based on 6 credit hours of enrollment. After the drop-add period each term, aid amounts will be adjusted to reflect actual enrollment. This is important to remember for budgeting purposes. Your projected aid and your actual aid may differ based on your enrollment, eligibility, and other factors. You will also notice that some aid sources include a take action option. For federal work study, this allows students to decline the work study offer if they do not wish to utilize those funds. If the student wishes to utilize federal work study funding, no action is required. For subsidized and unsubsidized loans, students must take action to accept, reduce, or decline the loan offer. For the Parent Plus loan, the Take Action option can be used to decline the loan offer. To accept a Parent Plus loan, the parent must complete a credit application at studentaid.gov. Before accepting any loans, the student or parent should understand the difference in the loan types and the obligations required for each one. Information regarding loans can be found on our website, on the federal website, studentaid.gov, or by contacting the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. The final section of the financial aid page is for additional aid. Students will utilize this section to report additional aid that they expect to receive. For example, students receiving a non-UF scholarship will need to add their scholarship details in this section. Now that you know how to view your aid package on one.uf, we will discuss how to receive the funds that are offered in your aid package. The aid offer on one.uf is the best offer available based on each program's eligibility requirements and our available funding. Students should review their aid package each term and understand the types of aid that have been offered. At this time, you should be able to view your summer 2021 aid package as well as your fall-spring aid package for 2021-2022. Summer 2022 aid packages will be available on one.uf during the latter portion of the spring 2022 term. Aid packages for future fall-spring terms are available on one.uf during the preceding summer term. It is imperative that students know their awards. The eligibility requirements will differ for every aid source. Some sources can be renewed each year, while others cannot. Most sources require students to be enrolled at least half-time each term. Remember that the funds in your aid package are subject to change based on your enrollment, residency, and other eligibility criteria. Students should monitor their UF email account for notifications regarding changes to aid packages. Aid packages will be finalized after the drop add period each term, and we will then begin the disbursement process. When our office disperses aid, the funds are sent to the University Bursar's office to be applied to the charges on the account. If the charges on the account exceed the amount of financial aid funding, the student will be responsible for paying the difference. Alternatively, if the financial aid funds exceed the amount of charges on the account, the University Bursar's office will process a refund to the student. Students expecting a refund should set up a direct deposit account on one.uf and allow 3 to 5 business days from the date of disbursement for the refund to appear in their account. Students may also grant permission for their financial aid funds to pay non-institutional charges such as meal plans, printing fees, healthcare services, parking decals, etc. Students will establish direct deposit and student permissions under the Campus Finances or Bursar section of one.uf. Remember, your financial aid can only be used for education-related expenses, which are the items included in the cost of attendance. Students must learn to budget their funding to cover these expenses throughout the term and academic year. Financial stress can impact your performance and well-being, but this stress can be mitigated through financial literacy and money management. Students must know their expenses, know when the expenses are due, know when income or aid will be received to pay those expenses, and know how to manage their funds accordingly. In our final section, Maintaining Eligibility, we will discuss how to continue receiving your financial aid each academic year. Aid packages are created annually, and your eligibility for each source of aid can change each year. Some sources require you to demonstrate a level of financial need. Some require a particular GPA or credit hour requirement, and most require a FAFSA and at least half-time enrollment. Let's take a look at some common issues that impact eligibility. As we mentioned previously, students can view their satisfactory academic progress status on one.uf. Satisfactory academic progress, or SAP, is a federal requirement for aid eligibility and has three components, which are cumulative GPA, credit hour completion, and degree completion. If, at any point during a student's enrollment, their GPA falls below a 2.0, they fail to earn at least 75% of the courses in which they enroll, or they exceed 160 credit hours towards the completion of their degree, the SAP status will update to not meeting satisfactory academic progress, and students will become ineligible for many forms of financial aid. In many cases, students will regain eligibility by completing the SAP petition process. For more information, or if your status changes to not meeting SAP, please contact the Office for Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. To maintain eligibility, students must successfully complete any items on their to-do list. The most common items on the financial aid to-do list are in relation to federal verification. This is a process that is sometimes required to complete the FAFSA review and determine aid eligibility. Documents submitted for verification are reviewed by ProEd Services, which is a third-party servicer that provides verification review on behalf of the University of Florida. For questions regarding verification items, students should contact ProEd directly. Other common to-do items are related to student loan processing, such as the requirement to complete entrance counseling and master promissory note. Some loans, such as the PLUS loan or private loan, require additional application processes. Students must be enrolled at least half-time each term to be eligible for loan funding. For these or other to-do items on the student's account, instructions for completing the task will be provided by clicking on the specific to-do item. To maintain eligibility for most sources of aid, students must submit a FAFSA each academic year. The 2020-2021 and 2021-2022 FAFSAs are currently available at studentaid.gov, and students should submit those applications as soon as possible if they have not already done so. The FAFSA becomes available for submission on October 1st every year, and students are encouraged to submit the application as close to that date as possible. So, on October 1st of this year, students should be prepared to submit their 2022-2023 FAFSA. In addition to the eligibility requirements discussed in this presentation, some fund sources will have additional requirements for maintaining eligibility. Students must know the eligibility requirements for each aid source they are receiving and should contact the Office of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships for any questions relating to eligibility requirements. Financial aid is a vital element of many students' success at UF. We hope you found this presentation helpful and informative. If you have any questions or need more information, you can visit our website or contact us via the UF One Stop. We look forward to assisting you throughout your enrollment at the University of Florida. Go Gators!